from LN247, reaching you live from Abuja. It's time for the front burner, and the topic this morning is Beyond the Scars. It is one man's journey from addiction to redemption. Now, this is the story of Abraham Okoduah in commemoration of the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, which was observed last month. We got hold of this activist and present this no-holds-barred exclusive interview. Today, he shares his battle with addiction, which was so severe that it altered his physical appearance and changed the course of his life before intervention. But what you are about to watch right now is not a story about defeat. It's a story about courage, a story about choosing life when everything seemed lost. It's a story about recovery, resilience, and hope. Today, this morning, Abraham Okoduah joins us to share his remarkable journey, a journey that may inspire someone watching this morning to seek help, support a loved one, or simply understand addiction through a more compassionate lens. Because recovery is possible and every life is worth fighting for. Today, there are no talking points on the show. It's just a fluid conversation worth listening to. No talking points, just one-on-one with Abraham Okoduah. Enjoy this interview. Okay, so we held him in the studio last week and we recorded him, and this is our exclusive interview. Enjoy. Thank you, Abraham, for joining us in the studio at LN247. It took us a while to get here. All the back and forth on the phone, you know, and all that. But I must say that I'm very happy to meet you.
Thank you so much.
I'm very happy to have given you that hug I gave you when you walked
so
into the studio. So let's delve right into it. Tell me a bit about your background before all the drama that happened in your life.
Well, my mom is the religious type. My dad, more like a traditional kind of person. A typical African father that is more of strict. And then I grew up from, how do I put it, a complicated home.
What do you mean complicated?
Okay, my dad was once a widower, then remarried my mom. My mom was once a widow, remarried, and both of them had kids before they remarried and gave birth to us. So,
are you the first?
No, I'm not the first. So from my father's side, I'm like the fourth. Then from my mother's side, hold on, I need to count. It's not something I usually put over.
Yeah.
Modestin long.
Modestin long. Okay, so would you say you had a turbulent upbringing, traumatic childhood that led to what happened in your life?
I didn't really grow up in a very healthy environment. Growing up in the ghetto of Port Harcourt, it was more of courtesan, killing, then briefly after that, militancy, and also.
Now, so your Christian upbringing and, you know, the faith and the discipline your mom instilled into you helped you navigate that era. So when did all of that change?
There were some things that happened, some events that transpired that led to ripple effects to that phase.
Okay, so let me take you back now.
Okay.
When you were growing up, all those years, did you have dreams and aspirations about your life, about your future? Did you have that as a child? I suppose
Yes,
you did.
I
Every
did.
child does
I
have
did.
that.
For a kid that grew up in the kind of setting I had, you're limited to the amount of dream you can access. Because the exposure you have is based on the kind of environment you're on. So it's more like, lawyer, this, lawyer, that. So that's, you're limited. And then I had the dream of becoming a pilot.
Okay.
I always wanted to be a pilot. I had a dream of becoming a pilot. And yeah, that was it.
All right. So at what point did all of that change?
I think the point that's changed was when I was actually raped.
Raped?
Yeah. So, yes, what actually happened was, as a young evangelist, I had people I looked up to that I felt was ahead of me in ministry. So I actually had this man, Evangelist Prince, I can't remember his surname no more. So we usually go to his houses a couple of days in a week for fellowship, like a teens fellowship and all, where he teaches us the Bible. We ask questions. As a young mind, you're curious. You want to know things you don't understand from the Bible and all. So I actually went to visit him that day. After the fellowship ended, he told me to stay behind, that he needed to discuss something with me. Okay, all right, no props. Because at that point in my life, we didn't really know anything like homosexuality or gay. That's the only thing we saw as fornication was man and woman.
Outside marriage.
Yes. So that was what we saw. And so it never really crossed my mind for me to hold a shield or protect myself. And when everybody else left, he actually locked the door and started talking to me, sat close to me, started talking to me, and before you knew, he started touching me inappropriately. At first, I actually felt uncomfortable. But I didn't read any meaning to it. Like, oh, this is someone I looked up to and I understand, and maybe he didn't mean anything by it. But at some point, he started going towards my genitals and trying to touch me inappropriately. Okay, I tried to protest, and the next thing, it was as if a mask was pulled out. Before then, all I saw was an angel, but it was as if he pulled out a mask, and what I was seeing was a beast, a demon. Then he forced himself on me.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, like I said, my family was a complicated family. So,
you couldn't talk to
yes, going back, that same day, even with the bruises and everything, when I got back home, only for me to find out that my mom and dad was quarreling as usual. And usually, most times they have a habit of always blaming each other when we do something wrong. Okay. Yeah, it'd be like, your pikin do this and this, that, and this, that. So instead of them to actually face us, they will actually each other. Okay, so we always felt guilty for, like, we are the reason why they are fighting. We are the reason why we are quarreling. So I just felt if I told them about it, it will only cause more problem and more drama in the house. And my dad had a habit of always, anything that happens in the house, he will call external family, village, and everybody, before you know it's
you don't want to escalate this.
Exactly.
So you internalized it.
Exactly. But the worst part of doing that was that it affected me psychologically.
Of course. Yeah.
Because whenever I tried to read the Bible, I could not even concentrate. I would just be staring at the scriptures like this, and tears would just be pouring out from my eyes. Because I just felt like God failed me.
Right.
Like, come on, I've been dedicated to you. I didn't join bad friends. I didn't do anything wrong. And all I've been doing is winning souls for you. And only for you to allow such a thing to happen to me.
You felt betrayed.
I felt betrayed by God.
Let down by
yes.
God.
So I could no longer pray. Anytime I tried to pray, it was as if who am I praying to? So that's just it. And one thing about Satan, he has a way of using your own intelligence against you. So before you knew, I started analyzing the thoughts. Come on, are you sure God is even real, or it's just some theory or story that the white men brought in order to manipulate us into slavery and all and all. So I tried to justify my doubts. And what that actually did, and that's where the ripple effect started, was all my life I knew nothing else but the whole church community, being a child of God. That's all I knew all my life. So without it, I didn't know who I was. I've actually left my safe space and I didn't know who I was no more. So it was more like, okay, so where do I belong now? So trying to fit in, and because I disliked the whole street life, understand? So I always wanted to fit in with people I felt was more richer and more, well-doing than myself, because I didn't want to relate with my environment. So that was just it, and I was in pursuit of sense of belonging. And then it led to youthful exuberance. That if you ask anybody that knew me back then as a teenager, you see the way I dress. I didn't I always dressed to be noticed. I'll do hairstyles and draw things on my hair. Before this design on the hair started happening, I don't do things. I think the only hairstyle I've never kept is actually locks. And so I would just, it was then I would dress my color blocking. So there's no way I will pass a place you won't notice me. So it was my own way of screaming for notice me. I want to be belong. So most people just saw me as an irresponsible kid, not knowing that I was just a kid battling with demons at that time. So when I gained admission, because shortly after I finished secondary school, I started working. Okay, I was working as a sales boy in a furniture shop, and from there, within a couple of months, I was made a manager. So I actually had access to money.
Okay.
So at that young age, come on, what responsibility did I have? Just myself. So I actually started the whole clubbing thing. The first vice I actually opened myself to was cigar, the big cigar.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, the Cuban cigar. Yes. And that's because, most times in movies I see the boss and big boys, understand? That's what the whole, that's what the whole, they'll be like, do not puff the smoke, kind of like, oh. And so I actually wanted that. So when I could afford going to clubs and all, and then, unlike now, I'm not fine again now. Back then I was very handsome. I was like this cute.
No, you're still very cute.
Yeah, but at least compared to them, I was way more good looking. So I would go to clubs. I don't even bother buying drinks because I was a dancer then too. That's I used to do choreography and all. So when I go to the club, even my dancing alone will attract women to me that want to buy me drinks and all. So the smoking of cigar was more of trying to still fit in. Yeah. And from there, shortly after that, I got in the admission into school. Into Uniport, University of Port Harcourt, to study geology.
Geology, oh great.
So, university is another world entirely.
Absolutely.
There you begin to see people with different backgrounds, before university, you're only exposed to the environment your parents control.
That's right.
And school control.
Absolutely.
So you're limited. But in university, it's a different ballgame entirely. You meet people with different mindsets.
How did this start on campus?
All right, so there this clique of friends I had. And funny enough, when my video went viral, some of them reached out. Yeah, they reached out. They were like, how come all of us escaped and you got trapped?
Oh, okay, so let's continue the story.
So most of them were actually rich kids that I felt, okay, when I say rich kids, not like they were rich.
I know, but
compared to me,
right.
they came from a more buoyant family.
Had some status.
Yes, where you can drive daddy's car to school and all. But thinking about it now, I was actually richer than those folks. For real. Because they depended on their father's money.
But you had your own money.
I had my own money. I bought my first power bike while I was still in school. I was the only student using a power bike at that time.
Okay, so how did they lure you in?
So it was more like trying to fit in. And it first started with my neighbor. When I was in year one, my neighbor actually usually smoked weed. And one thing with inferiority is when you see anybody that have what you feel you lack, you place this superiority on them over you. So this guy was not as good looking as myself, but he had this confidence. He used to carry girls and all that. And then I used to have this fear for rejection. So I never had that guts to actually approach a lady. And so I felt this, wow, I'd like to be close to this guy. I'd like to understand, to be his friend. So I'll know I'm part of this. And so I became his friend. I will escort him to the bunk to go buy weed and all that. So when he sits with his friends, they'll be smoking. And also one of these days, I was like, okay, let me try it out.
And that was it.
So I actually tried it out and it felt good. No lies.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're being honest here.
Yeah, it actually felt good and I enjoyed the feeling. Before you knew it, escalated to experimenting with other drugs, Refnol. Then we used to call it AKA Baba Blue. Because when you lick it, your tongue becomes blue.
Oh, that's what leads to that.
Blue tongue. Yes.
When you see people with the blue tongue.
Yes. Yeah. So Refnol. So Refnol, codeine, SK, like that. That time we'll contribute money to go and buy a bottle of codeine. We'll not split it. You will not share it. So that was it. We experimented with a couple of drugs. And this is where the gateway was opened. One of those guys, he was the top. His brother was actually a sickle cell warrior. Oh. Sorry, I won't say was. He is. I don't know if he's still there, but I would prefer using is. Yes. So he is a sickle cell warrior. So he usually rolled with us, but due to his condition, he couldn't do most of the stuff. Yeah. So there was this injection he usually take, pentazocine. So whenever we go, even that's my guy, his brother, also takes it sometimes. We'll be like, well, I'd send a medicine. He'll be like, no, the thing they high too, the thing they're good for. Oh, good. But because I was scared of needles, I never bothered. So later, after we graduated, most of all those vices of smoking weed and all that stopped. Because I actually didn't have a need for them no more, because they were actually because of peer pressure, the cliques, and all. So I didn't really need that. But at this point, I was already focused on my business.
So you did all that for 4 years? on
Yes.
campus?
No, not 4 years. Let's say 3 years.
3, and then you stopped,
Yes.
and then you graduated.
Yes.
So-
But after I graduated, I still remained within the school environment.
Okay.
Because that's where I had customers. Most of
Okay.
my customers were students because
Okay.
I started working from school. I learned how to make hair and all that. So then you buy all these Brazilian wig and weave-ons and we sew it on your hair, either center parting. You should know what I'm talking
I
about.
know, right?
Not like before they graduated into the whole wig thing, understand? So most of my customers were students, so I had to stay within this
That environment.
So when I opened my shop, and I started feeling severe pains because as a biker, you get exposed to wind. So when you're driving your power bike,
Right.
you get exposed to wind a lot. So I struggled with pneumonia when I was young. So I started feeling severe pains. After a while, I was no longer feeling the pneumonia. I thought maybe, okay, it was
It had
gone
gone.
from, but I didn't know it came back. So I was feeling pains on my
Chest.
and all that. So I thought, okay, let me go take painkiller, normal self-medication. An average African parent is a doctor and a nurse all at once. You know, that kind of a thing where they tell you, oh, you dey get headache, go meet nurse. May nurse miss this, they'll do cocktail of drugs for you.
Right.
So that's the way I grew up. We usually saw it now. Big man, now they go hospital.
Okay.
So when I felt those symptoms, I went to run tests to find out that it was, and antibiotics were just sorted it out. But I went and Medicare told I beg, give me painkillers. I need a few pain. He did some cocktails for me. I took the drugs and the medication he gave. They didn't work. I came back and complained to him. I was like, bro, this stuff. And this chemist was still the same guy that was selling drugs to us. Those codeine, Refnol, and all that. He was the one selling it to us. Because usually they have their customers, they know their customers.
Right.
So they hide it somewhere. And when you come, when they know you
They
have a
know-
family
they-
affair,
they
they just go and
already identify you.
they wrote it up. But if a stranger and they don't know your face,
They won't
they'll
say.
tell you we don't have or bring a prescription.
So you went back to him.
Yes, and I was like, okay, what's up? This stuff you give to me didn't work. You're like, okay, what about that injection when that your guy they take? You understand? And based on, I've already pictured it in my mind. Understand? I've already known, okay, this is also very sweet. Understand? I was like, okay, it's a good excuse to actually experiment. So I was like, okay, cool. And I think one of the reasons why I felt kind of a bit safe was because I felt after all, a chemist they gave me.
You're not buying it on the streets.
Streets.
So it felt safe.
Yeah. So they tied my hand and they injected it. Within seconds, the pain
pain
disappeared. So I actually felt this nice euphoria. It was as if it's like you having sexual climax, but it didn't last seconds. It's lasting for hours.
For hours. That's a feeling.
Yes, it's a feeling. So I went back to work. I was excited, feeling good. And after a couple of hours, it began to
The
fade.
pain came again.
I began to come back. So I went back again. I was like, guy, I beg, give me another one. He gave me. And before you knew it, that was how I got hooked. From one ampoule, after a while, one ampoule that used to last up to like 4 hours was no longer lasting up to 30 minutes. Because my body have developed tolerance. So I had to increase from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5. At the time, yes, ampoules.
Yeah,
Yeah, and one ampoule is like a 10 milligram. And by the time I reached the stage before I actually came out, I was actually using 6 packs per day. That's like 60 ampoules.
Wow.
That's 2 pack in the morning, 2 pack in the afternoon, 2 pack in the evening. That was more like my meal.
How many needles do you have to? Because one needle takes how many?
No, they have different sizes of syringe. We have
syringe, sorry.
We have 10 milligram syringe. We have 5
5.
milligram. We have 2. So I initially started with 2 since it was just one ampoule.
Yeah.
And then I increased to 5 because I started taking 4 ampoules at once. I grew from 2 to 3, 3 to 4. So I was not taking 4 at once.
Wow.
But I stopped at that 4, but the frequency was what I increased. So if I actually took, let's say I took 4 ampoules now, in the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I might go back again. So
how were you doing that? And you were still working. How, like you're doing somebody's hair now, or doing whatever it was you were doing, you excuse yourself to go and do this and come back? Because I'm looking at the time frame.
Okay,
that
now
gave
the
you
thing
that
is,
ability.
one thing about craving is craving usually don't come when you're busy. Yeah, craving most time. That's why
Idleness.
idleness. You see, when you're struggling with addiction, one of the things you must avoid is actually idleness, and that's why most people come out of rehab and they relapse.
Because there's nothing to engage them.
Because there is no vacuum in your mind. Something have to occupy that space.
Right.
You have already introduced a sense of pleasure and reward system to your brain. Your dopamine is now being produced by external forces. So meaning right now, that euphoria you're feeling, you have to actually incorporate your brain to actually come back to normal again. So you have to introduce something else to replace it.
Okay, so we're going to the second segment of the show, and here we'll be looking at the breaking point, the consequences, pain, and loss. You did mention that people try to warn you. So at what point did things begin to fall apart? Just earlier, you talked about the fact that you started decaying from inside. What does that mean?
Okay, when I get to the office, before you know, they'll off the AC, they'll open the windows, that's spraying air fresher, because there was offensive decaying odor coming out from my body. People couldn't sit around me. My colleagues always had to close their nose when they're around me. Then those that felt a bit more comfortable to reach out to the guy, you're having body odor now, try use perfume. So I started using spray and all that, thinking that the smell became worse. So at some point, the company had to hold a meeting. After the monthly staff meeting, they told me to wait behind. They asked me, what's going on with you? Everyone has been complaining and all that. So everyone is uncomfortable about your presence, especially because of the smell. And they kept complaining that they keep seeing blood stains in the bathroom. And that was not occurring until you came.
Until you came.
Understand? So they had to put me on indefinite sick leave. And that was it. So I actually lost the job. Understand? And that was so. After that, I tried to go back to my hair styling work. Because at this point, I've sold all my properties.
To be able to buy drugs.
From the shop. So I had to pair up with somebody at the shop. I looked for a salon that I can be working. And while working there, most customers were complaining too.
About the smell. What was it? Was it body odor or what
No,
was
it was a decaying odor. You know when rats dies?
Yeah.
Oh no, let's not use rat. Let's say a corpse. When a corpse is decaying and the smell, yes. That was actually a very offensive smell. So they said complaining to the owner of the salon that, oh, what did they do this guy now? How this kind of fine boy like this could they smell like this, all those kind of stuff. So they complained, and because of that, I actually left. So when this whole thing started and it became worse, over time I started noticing that blisters will gather on my body, they will burst. Instead of them to heal, they'll start decaying. So meaning the decay have started from inside, have not come out to the surface.
To the skin.
And so, because if it was from the top, at least the top that will open first before going down.
Right.
But this one, it starts
coming from under.
The under. So the decay just gathers fluid and it gathers the blisters. It bursts, you see a hole, and it's just the decay just kept spreading. So at this point, I had to leave where I was and I went back to my family house. So getting there, I kept injecting and all that. So my family was aware. But the thing is, all I got was judgment and condemnation. Like, see your life and all that, who send you, they send you go school, see what you go, they do, all those kind of statements. Now, what made me leave home, which was actually another mistake also, was one day, because usually sometimes when I fix up, I'll just be looking at the wall. Can be still like this. I'll just be like that, just still like that for hours. So you that see me, you're the one thinking that I'm stiff. To my mind, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm no longer there. You can just be looking at this wall and you're seeing different kind of shapes. You're just. So most times those junkies you see, it's not like they are out of reality. It's just that they are in their own reality. So one day I was just in my room, I was just there because my mom tried. One thing with some parents is they are not quite enlightened about how to handle such situations. So she went to go and get hot water, put salt so I could put my legs inside to disinfect the injury site. It wouldn't be smelling as bad as it was. And also, she did the best she could. But my dad on the other way around was angry, understand? Because I was more like, let's say, his favorite. Because he was quite fond of me and he was very proud of me.
Is he late?
He late. And so Then I think that was his own way of expressing his discontent.
Yeah.
There was one day I was inside the room, I was just, in my space, in my head space, and he just came out like, Abraham, see you? What's the difference between you and a madman now?
Oh, wow.
Understand? See how you have thought your life useless. So that thing actually got to me. I was like, I'm here dying. Instead of you guys to help me out, you're all here just... So it's better out there that I know I don't have a family than for me to be among people I call family and nobody...
You left?
So I left. Nobody knew when I even left the house.
So where did you go?
I went back to school environments, the space I was familiar with. Then I looked for one of the rooms. I squatted with someone. Because the salon I later got where I was now working, they had an apartment for stylists, like one room, in case maybe stylists that come from far and all that.
Can't go back.
Yeah, so I just started staying there. So there was one day the owner of the salon came to the room and saw me injecting through, like I was looking at the mirror because I couldn't find vein on my body anymore. I had to tie my neck so that veins can pop out of my neck for me to inject myself. So he saw me. At first he was scared as if I wanted to commit suicide. I had to explain that I lied to him that I had one sickness. Understand, I have one chronic something like that. The medication is to help me and all. But due to how I was frequently using it, everybody suspected that something was wrong. So before he knew it, I said losing everything.
So you lost your family, you lost your relationships?
Lost everything. Sold my bike, sold my properties, sold everything. So I ended up in the street begging for money. And whatsoever I was begging on the street, and because I speak so eloquently, understand, so people will not really see you as a street guy. They won't suspect. Because if I come to tell you, sir, hello, my name is this, I'm so sorry, I need your help, I'm having this, and based on you see my state, you know that this one is sick, and he speaks so well. So because society have this mindset that it's only touts that do drugs, irresponsible people that actually do drugs. So the approach I usually use, people don't tend to like, oh, this one are drugs. So they will assist me like that. I'll gather the money, I'll go and fix up like that. So later I started reaching out to my contacts. I'll be like, I beg, guy, no way. Please, can you just send me like 5K? I beg. And people that knew me knew that I was bigger than asking someone for 5K.
Urgent 2K.
2K. They knew that was not me. They knew I was bigger than that. So to some of them, they saw it as a privilege. Like, for this guy to actually call me, come ask me for this money, he must really mean down. Because this guy no confident, ask me that kind of thing like that. No for. So they will all usually send.
So you had started rehab?
No, I was just going to the hospitals
to treat your
scars and all that. Then that was where Mommy Kemi came into the picture. Because after I came back from youth service, I was actually scared of what was happening. And then she was making moves with the husband to help me get a job, preparing my CV and all. So, and based on the kind of relationship I had with her, because my childhood would have been worse without the presence of that woman.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about her.
So she was more like my guardian angel then. So she was always there. She was the one person I could talk to about anything. But because I was so scared of, because she usually used this phrase with me when I was growing up. That was like my motto growing up. Abraham, don't disappoint God or the few people that believes in you. So at that point, I actually felt like I've disappointed her.
So you actually felt hopeless at that time?
Yeah, at that time. But at some point, knowing that I could tell her anything, I could tell her anything, I opened up to her.
And you told her what was going on?
What was going on with her. And it actually broke her.
It did, right?
Yeah, it seriously broke her. So that was my first attempt at rehab.
At recovering yourself.
Yes.
Right?
So after she felt bad, she over cried and all. And the husband encouraged her and be like, okay, the boy is still alive. What can we do? So they enrolled me for rehabilitation in University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. And we had a first set in their rehabilitation center. So after staying for like a month, these blisters have healed up due to medication. I was no longer injecting. Me that was very slim before, I've gotten fat. Understand? Yeah, my body eating well and all. So I convinced myself that I was okay. So I insisted to want to go home.
So for how long were you in that hospital?
1 month.
And for that 1 month, you didn't fix?
No, because because it was rehab. There was no access.
No access. And then for 1 month, you felt you were clean.
Yes, I thought, overconfidence is one of the greatest enemies of someone struggling with addiction.
So you left?
Yes, I actually left. I insisted that I was okay.
That you were fine.
Yes, and one thing, being a speaker, there's a way you can
convince
yes,
people,
say the right things and they'll believe you.
So what happened after you left?
So after I left, I was idle. I tried to tell myself, no, I'm clean now. Nothing's happening. I'm clean now. So that overconfidence made me to lose guard. And before you knew, and one thing about relapses, once you just hint it, once you just open the door, you just flood in. So that was just what happened. I relapsed. And after relapsing, I got worse. So because of that, Mommy Kemi got kind of discouraged, understand, and
she withdrew.
Yes, she withdrew. I won't say left because we were still in contact, but even my guilt could not let me go closer.
To her.
Understand? Because not for once did she ever make any approach of judging me, but I actually just felt the distance. Understand? Because the truth is, there's this selfish thing about addiction. It doesn't just affect the victim; it affects the loved ones of the victim. So I think that's one of the things that she just couldn't stand seeing me in that way. Understand? And everybody in church then used to know me as Mommy Kemi's son, Mommy Kemi's son, Mommy Kemi's son. So almost when they see me on the street and all that, they call her and tell her that, oh, and also it was more like she had to protect her own mental space too. So at that point, I felt deserted. I had no one else because that was the only person in my life that I could look up to. So that's how I said, and the whole thing escalated. And before you knew it, when I could no longer inject my hand no more, that's why if you notice, this hand is okay, but this other one is gone.
Can we zoom in on that? So what is this? Can you explain what is this?
Okay, now if you notice, this hand is okay because I am right-handed. The only place I have scars are my fist there. That's because these are injection points.
All these ones?
Yes, all these points you're saying.
So you even tried your left hand to inject?
Yes, to inject my right hand. But I couldn't do all here because I'm right-handed, so I won't have proper handle. But all these places.
These are needles?
Yeah. So when you inject a place, when you inject for too long, that place dies and starts decaying. And even while it's decaying, you won't be able to stop. Yeah, stop. At some point, like my legs, when my leg decayed so bad, at some point when I couldn't find vein on my body anymore, I was now injecting the wound.
You're injecting the wound?
Yes. I will look for where there's a healthy tissue.
Just light? Yeah,
just like healthy tissue. I'll inject it and I'll drag it. Once I see blood flow, I know, okay.
You had hit the vein.
Yeah, I'll just push in. And immediately, because usually when you take it, there's this sensation you feel in your throat. So that's how you know you have actually, yes, you got it right. So when I could no longer find anywhere to inject here anymore, I went to my leg.
The leg?
Yes. So when I first of all went to my left leg, I was injecting. When the thing became too swollen and started decaying and there was nowhere to inject anymore, I came here. Came to the right. So as I'm talking to you right now, my right leg, I'm partially disabled. My ankles don't work no more because the veins, the skin tissues, and the muscles that you have all not just collapsed, they decayed off.
But they've healed now.
Yes, although it's still remaining little because after my skin grafting failed, they had to allow it to start covering naturally. So the whole leg was exposed before, but gradually, by the grace of God, it have actually almost this completely healed. So that's just it. And I was living like a zombie. If it was before, you wouldn't have been able to stay in a space like this with me.
Why not?
The smell was very. I'll pass. I don't need to even enter here. Just let me pass along this road, and everybody will like. So because of that, I could not go to social gatherings. Imagine where you have money, you stop a taxi, and the taxi will tell you it's not going. Or sometimes when you enter a bus, before you know, the bus will hold the emergency brake and be like, I beg, bros, come down, I need to go again.
So would you say that addiction, comes at a cost? And if you were to sit in front of youths today to talk to them, which we're going to on our third talking point, your recovery and the mission you now have, what would you be telling people about addiction, the effect it has on family, the effect it has on the church, the effect it has on the society at large? If you were to talk to people now, what will you be telling them? And to family members as well. And that's your camera. Okay.
Now, the thing is, the question of if addiction have a cost, I don't think I have to answer that. This already shows it. The scars on my body already shows it. Okay, the story I've mentioned before now already showed it. was a young man that had great dreams. I was smart, I was intelligent. So imagine turning such a smart, hardworking young man into a street beggar. I don't really know what's other, and going to the extent of being almost dead. I don't think I need to tell you about consequences because my story tells it all. Then for the community and families about drugs, we have to understand that drug most times is not just a product of moral deficiency. And because someone is a drug addict does not mean the person is have bad character or is a bad person. Drugs does not discriminate. You see, drug addiction, it does not discriminate. It's a very generous personality. You can accept no matter whether you're poor, whether you're rich, whether you're white, you're black, you're brown. It doesn't care. No, it doesn't care about your religion. It doesn't care about your age. Okay, anybody can fall victim to it. That's why I keep insisting that as a family, the way you're teaching your children about sex education, teach them about drug education too.
Let's go to our third talking point. But just before we do that, you know, this people have just been dragging you from everywhere before we eventually got hold of you and dragged you to the studio as well. Would you want to speak to the theme of this year, which is the world drug problem, persisting issues, new challenges, innovative responses?
All right.
That's the theme. Would you want to just speak to that the theme for this year before we go to our third talking point and then we begin to wrap up?
Okay, now we need to understand that the people that sell these drugs, it's actually an industry for them. Okay, it's an industry. And those people are actually creating a marketing scheme that can earn them more customers. But what you also need to understand is simple economics, is logic. Where there is a high demand, there will be supply. Kill the demand and you kill the supply. All right? So basically, it's a problem because these people now, unlike before that it was just weed, and most times you say weed is organic, weed is this. Right now, we now have lots of affordable synthetics everywhere. Everywhere. Even primary school kids now can afford to buy street drugs and get wasted.
I know.
Okay? So this is a problem. So I think we have to be strategic in approaching this. Hence the theme of this year. We have to be intentional and strategic. So we cannot be doing the same thing we were doing before and expecting the same results. We have to understand that, okay, it's high time we change the strategy. All right? While we are also making awareness to actually work towards prevention, attacking the demand, let us not also forget that the industry will not just let that work. Because this industry have lots of money at their disposal. They have lots of these cartels, they have lots of money at their disposals, and they are willing to buy anybody or kill anybody just to sustain their markets. So we have to fight this battle from two ends. From that's where the government comes in. From the supply, the governments have the ability to fight that. I think that's through NDLEA.
I was coming to that because you had a meeting with them. Yes, so I'm coming to NDLEA.
Listen, so that's where the battle. But in time, have tried all they know to do, and this child keep going back. They be like, I beg, we don't tire. Not be only you born. We'll focus on other children. So yes,
right. So talking about innovative ways, you talked about demand and supply, the role of government. Yesterday, you met with the NDLEA, a meeting I graciously facilitated.
Thanks to you.
Right, so he was at NDLEA yesterday and he met the management.
You see why I say I'm a product of community support. So it's not like they didn't know I was a drug addict, but despite being a drug addict, they were willing. And one good thing was, unlike most places where I go to and they were irritated by the smell and my presence, the church was not the one I attend. Like they didn't. Like sometimes, like these people don't really see. They really perceive this thing, but they didn't really. So when they wanted me to go and sit in the congregation, I felt uncomfortable. Like, nah, which congregation? Maybe people they close their nose. Most people don't even know that NDLEA have rehabilitation centers. Even this number I just mentioned, that most people don't know they have it. People only see NDLEA as a disciplinary figure that catches drug barons, dealers. They don't know that they also play a motherly role of trying to help addicts. So when you tell an addict, now let's go to NDLEA, they think you just want to arrest them. In the angle of users, I think NDLEA is more interested in rehabilitation for users than arrests.
Right.
Understand? It's the dealers,
The
they
dealers
do
that
more of
they-
the arrest.
right,
Understand?
right.
But for the users, they are more concentrated on rehabilitating them. But most people don't know this.
So you think the NDLA should bring more awareness?
Yes,
to
more awareness to this side
them,
of it.
the
So
modeling
it's
side.
not only about when you catch cartels and catch barons and you confiscate drugs that you put it on TV. Okay, this part of rehabilitation, this part
Very
of modeling
important.
is very important. It gives hope to people. Okay, so it's very important that they push it out there. Okay, and please, since you're the arm of the government that actually handles such issues, please, we need more rehabilitation centers because private rehabs are extremely expensive. Most junkies and most families cannot afford it.
They can't.
Listen, please. And we need more rehabilitation centers. And I think that's where the government comes in to empower them.
Yeah, there's a particular number we're talking about yesterday. We will display the number on the screen. Finally, let's begin to wrap up as we take our third talking point. And we're looking at your road to recovery, healing, hope, and second chance. You cannot deny the fact that God has given you a second chance. Yeah,
Sure.
and I'm happy you're not taking it for granted.
At all.
People would have this kind of chance and then would take it for granted. And you just sit in their corner, I'm fine, I'm okay now, so who cares? But you have decided to turn your story into a mission. And so let's talk about what you're doing now. And what you're doing, the lives you're impacting. I know there are lots of lives. I was on Instagram with you yesterday.
TikTok, actually.
And people are dealing with stuff. And they could relate with you. They were open with you. And you are the one, they probably will not talk to me. Of course they can't, because I can't relate to what they are dealing with. But they can relate with you. And I'm happy at what you're doing. So tell us about your mission after your healing and recovery.
Okay, in case you're struggling with addiction, you have to understand that one of the things that will help you is developing a sense of purpose. All right? Developing a sense of purpose. Actually, how the campaign of my advocacy started was even before my recovery. I had not even recovered then. It was, I think, my third suicide attempt. After I attempted to kill myself with an overdose, I passed out, and by the time I opened my eyes, everywhere was whitish. I thought maybe I was in heaven. I was more confront God, make God do the judgment.
You will not have gone to heaven.
Now you talk up. Anyway, but the thing is, I was expecting judgment and all that. Maybe I'll see one golden gate where the angels will not be flying in the air and all that. But fortunately then, when I opened my eyes, I was still in my room. So I was so angry. I was so angry with God. I was like, God, what's the meaning of this nonsense? Kill me, you don't want to kill me. Heal me, you don't want to heal me. What sin have I committed that is beyond forgiveness? Now, I'm not telling you should heal me again. Let me take my own life. She na hell, I won't go. Now you go the hell. Allow me die. But a thought now came into my head. I was like, Abraham, you know, if you die now, you're going straight to hell. Meaning you have suffered in life and still suffer after life. So since the life is no longer useful to you, why not just give it to God? After all, what do you have to lose? You have actually lost everything so far. So what do you have to lose? Why not just give it to God? So I didn't give my life to God as a product of, oh, Lord, help me. Or, oh, Lord, I believe in you. And mine, I gave my life to God more like a punishment. I wanted to punish God.
Take him now.
Take him now. And share the look for life. And I take now. So that was the whole concept. I was like, with what I'm going through right now, this is something I don't want even my worst enemy to go through. Understand? So let me just use my story, go out there, and so that they don't make the same mistake I made. I was on wheelchair.
Wow.
I was on wheelchair. So I'll plead down, like, please, can I talk to your student? Most times they'll allow me to talk during the morning devotion, understand? And after talking, you see students, they'll be crying and all that. So it was more like, see me, I'm about to die right now. I'm dying. This is my farewell. So please, if you don't want to die like me, just don't start it. So it's not like I was anticipating recovery. Mine was just, please don't die like me. Don't live your life. Don't make the same mistake I did. I'm about leaving you guys, but I don't want you to make the same mistake. And that was just it for me. I started going to schools, going to schools. I was advocating, and that was when God just opened doors and helps coming. Because God uses men to bless men. So that was how the advocacy started. And after I came out from rehab, I continued. They're going to schools, they're going to events, they're going to churches, they partner with NGOs to speak and all. So what used to be like my farewell message become a testimony message. I'm trusting God to start up an NGO, so that I can have a proper structure for this. Because right now my mates have gone way far ahead of me, with kids and family. And right now it's more like I'm not competing with my peers anymore. I'm not competing with the Gen Zs.
And you're supposed to be way ahead.
Yeah, way ahead.
So addiction actually robs you at the end of the day.
See, one thing people don't understand is they think it's just the health issue and the mental issue that is the worst thing you can lose with addiction. No, the worst thing you can actually lose is time.
Okay, for people who want to go into rehab, they are afraid. A lot of them tell me they are afraid. They don't know what to expect. In 2 minutes, what is rehab like? Is it a place where it's difficult? I know it is difficult. People, do they feed you? Do they talk to you? Do they counsel you? Is it the process? Just walk me through that process.
Okay, you ask what rehab is, but I will start with what rehab is not. Rehab is not a cure. All right. So if you're going there with the impression that if I go into rehab, I'll come out to take cure, they'll give me medicine that will make me stop drugs and I'll stop. No. Rehab is not a cure. Rehab is like a help rope, a helpline. The illustration I can use is more like you're in a pit and it's a muddy pit and you're sinking. Understand? And rehab is throwing you a rope.
You have to grab it.
You have to grab the rope and climb out. So they don't pull you out, you climb out. Okay. So meaning nobody can rehabilitate you out of drugs unless you're willing. That's why no matter how much you try to help an addict, if the addict is not yet willing to help himself, believe me, you're wasting your time. So rehab is not a cure. For those parents that feel imposing rehab on their children, that's why they always relapse. So what rehab is rehab is a fighting chance, because addiction steals the fighting chance from you. You can't make decisions on your own anymore. Your craving is in control. So what rehab does is rehab keeps you in a secluded space where you don't have access to those drugs. Whereby giving you an opportunity, because if they are giving you medications and you're still injecting, you're just nullifying everything. Right. That might even cause more harm than good. So instead, when they seclude you away from having access to those drugs, they now, when you're having withdrawal symptoms, they now treat it. Symptoms. One of the things that make people actually, they try to stop on their own, and when they can, they tell you the reason why they relapse was the withdrawal symptoms were just too much, they couldn't handle it. So rehab will help you handle the withdrawal symptoms, whereby giving you a fighting chance to stop. So over time, the first week, yes, might be very, very, because yes, you feel like you're in prison. Understand? I don't mean to scare anybody, but if you need to go to prison to be free, then it's worth it.
Right.
It's worth it, believe me. So you have to, over time, but there are activities there. Although we have different kind of rehab. We have faith-based rehab. We have medical rehab. Then we have counseling. Then there are some rehab that is a mixture of both faith and medical. We have both counseling, and there's a rehab that have all three. So we have different kind of rehab. So that's why sometimes if someone needs medical rehab and you take the person to faith-based rehab,
it will not work.
It will not work.
Let me ask you, how long did your addiction last for?
I think almost 8 years.
8 years?
Yes.
And how long have you been clean now?
4 years going to 5 years.
4 years going to 5 years. Let's talk about the scars.
Okay.
I like to touch it.
Sure.
Yeah. I like to touch your scar and identify with, your story, your success story. You're a remarkable fighter.
Thank you so much.
And I commend your courage, your resilience, your focus, So when you look at the scar and the ones on your legs, you wear your scar with pride. I like that about you. It's not something you hide. You talk about it, you show it, and all that. You wear it with pride. But when you look at the scar, what encapsulates what goes on in your mind? This is my scar. I wear it with pride. I wear it with dignity and all that. Can you run me through?
Have you heard of this phrase? You can't shame the shameless.
Okay, I've heard about it.
Now, the thing is, you can't guilt-trip me over things I'm already taking responsibility for.
Clock it.
So the thing is, right now, someone cannot come and mock me for being a junkie because I already owned up to it.
And you're clean.
And I'm clean. Understand? So you're deliberating on my past, not on my present. Understand? So my scar used to be a thing of shame and reproach before, but now my scar is my badge of battle. Understand? It's like I fought, I saw it, and I conquered. So before you want to judge me, I have my evidence. Understand? So it's not something that I actually like want to hide no more. Understand? Although there was a time where, but at some point, the thing is, I've owned up to it. And what other choice do I have? Because nobody can ever love me better than I can love myself.
Absolutely.
I know my body used to be better than this, but this is what I got now. So
no, your body is good, man. You're sexy. Pardon my choice of words. You're good looking.
Thank you. Thank you. But I was better, understand? But the thing is, I get them before no be property. This is the new thing. Understand? This is the new thing. And I have to just accept myself. Right. How do I expect the world to accept me when I can't accept myself?
So what are your plans for the future?
Well, like I said, NGO, documentary, and I'm praying to God that soon I'll be able to establish my own rehabilitation centers where people that can't really afford proper treatment, understand, can actually come in there and get help. Understand? So I'm trusting God for that partnership and to be able to achieve all that. And also to push the awareness, not just within Nigeria, but other African countries and to the world at large.
Now let's begin to wrap up. And at this stage, this is where you give messages. I want you to talk to families who are overwhelmed because having a drug addict in the family can be overwhelming.
Yes.
It rips families apart.
Yeah.
What will you tell families who are at that stage now, the stage where your family was, stage of despondency, they're just overwhelmed, they're tired, they don't know what to do? I want you to look at that camera and talk to those families using your own experience, as a part.
Now, the interesting thing is, I know most people want me to say, don't give up on them, encourage them, be supportive, but the truth is, it can be very exhausting. So while trying to help that child, also make sure you also help yourself. Protect your mental health, because it's a long journey. It's a long journey. Because you'll not be able to help that child if you break down. Okay? And another thing, please listen. Don't be quick to respond when they're telling you things. Listen and don't judge. Even though you don't understand what they are saying, they can sense it, believe me. Addicts are very, very sensitive. Like, they are very intelligent. I don't know how they do. That's why, I think that's why most times when people come out of addiction, they do so well. Check most people that have actually conquered addiction. They do so well. Now, the thing is, while trying to help them, also protect your mental health. All right? Because if you break down, you will not be able to help them. You will not be able to help them. But listen, don't judge. And also, I know that we are in kind of, this part of the world is a society where almost everybody is an advisor, a special advisor. This one will give advice, this one will give advice. No. Be intentional about your efforts so that you don't go around wasting money. Okay? Seek for professional help, professional guidance. Don't think you know. Okay? And that is why people like me, we are also there. If you feel you can't reach that child, reach out to us. Then we'll see how we can have a meeting with that child and make the child understand this is what you're doing, this is how the danger is, and this is what it is. Because most times familiarity can come into play and feel like my parents don't know what's up and all that, or my dad is just judgmental, my mom is angry, but your action is actually justified. But you have to understand that a junkie does not interpret actions the way a normal person does. Everything is seen as an attack.
And what message would you want to pass across to somebody who is currently where you used to be, somebody struggling with addiction in whatever form? If they were to stand in front of you, what would
I will
you
use one
them?
sentence. Freedom is possible. I'm a testimony of that.
Freedom is possible, and you're a testimony of that. And would that make sense to an addict?
Yes.
It will.
Why I had to say it, I'm a testimony of that, is because it's difficult to actually envision what you can see. Because one of the things that most addicts struggle with is this even possible to come out? Because after how many times you promise yourself, I will never do it again. No, see, most times when people advise addicts, most of the things you advise addicts, they already know. They know what they're doing is wrong, just that they can't help themselves. They know what they're doing is wrong. And most times when they fail themselves like that, they hate themselves. That's where the depression comes in.
Suicidal
thoughts, where they lose their self-esteem. Listen, so at that point, I want you to understand that it's possible. It's going to be tough, yes, but it's possible.
All right.
Don't give up. Keep fighting. Also, I know you have relapsed a couple of times. Me, when they follow you talk, I relapsed a couple of times too. It's not everybody that go in and out of rehab that just comes out overnight. Understand? Some people have to go through a series of process before they're finally free. So don't give up on yourself, even though the world gives up on you. Thank you.
So rehabilitation is possible, recovery is possible. He's a living testimony. He's our shining star today.
Thank
you. So finally, what does hope mean to you?
I don't think I've ever thought of that question before.
No, they think
okay. Is it hope to me or to others?
To hope, to you. Hope.
All right. I think right now, the truth is one of the major regrets I have are the things I've lost, especially the time. People say time is money, but I think they are wrong. Time is not money because you can lose money and regain it, but you can't lose time and regain it. So the amount of years I have lost, I won't be able to regain it.
That's a fact.
But the hope I have is I have a God that have the ability to give speed. He brought me this far. I know I'm not yet where I'm going to, but I'm no longer where I used to be. And that same God that took me from where I was to where I am now will definitely take me. So right now, I'm dreaming big. Because I believe and I know that I have a source that have the capacity to do all and more than I can think or imagine. So that is my hope.
I'm so happy I've had this conversation with you.
Thank you so much.
Abraham, thank you so much for coming to our studio. Thank you for being vulnerable, for the insight you bring into this topic and this issue. Thank you for the hope you give to the people out there who are always listening to you, who are counting on you. Remember, a lot is hanging on you, a lot depends on you. So I want to thank you very much for being a part of our show today. We'll keep having this conversation. Yeah, you will never finish. You know, say you have adopted a mother now, eh?
Thank you so much,
so we'll keep talking, and we wish you the very best. From all
you,
of us here at LN247, we wish you the very best. We pray that God enlarges your coast, that he keeps using you as a vessel of honor, and that you will not bring shame and reproach to his name. You will not relapse. It will not even happen. It cannot even happen. You've gone too far.
That's one of the unique prayer points. God does
You've gone too far. You've gone too far. You've gone too far.
Thank you.
You know, we wish you the very best. And thank you once again. Wish you a safe journey back to Port Harcourt.
Thank you.
And we shall keep talking.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Your brand deserves to be seen. On Helen 24/7, we put your business in front of a global audience, anytime, anywhere. From product highlights to full brand features, we help you connect with customers who matter, grow your reach, and boost your visibility. Reach millions across TV, digital, and social media platforms. For more information, you can send us an email or contact us via the numbers on. Partner with Helen 24/7 today, where your brand meets opportunity.